One-shot abilities in Overwatch. ROADHOG was nerfed so he didn't have one, yet we still have other heroes that can one-shot just as easily, if not easier, than ROADHOG could. Are these one-shot abilities fair? And what is the philosophy behind Blizzard's game balance? We're going to talk about it all here in today's video. Today's video is sponsored by Haste, the program that improves your connection to Overwatch game servers. It'll reduce your ping, improve stability, and give you less of those annoying ping spikes that make the game unplayable. Check out the link in the description and sign up for their 14-day free trial. You don't even need your credit card to do it. So what's up with these one-shot abilities in Overwatch anyway? Does Blizzard like them? Do they hate them? Why did they remove ROADHOGs yet Scatter Arrow still exists in the game? Furthermore, Doomfist is being added and he can one-shot a lot of the heroes in the game as well. So you may be wondering, what's the deal here? Well, ROADHOGs was removed quite simply because they felt it was unfair that a tank could one-shot people. You have 900 effective HP and an ability that can grab someone from across the map, pull them towards you, and kill people. And while he wasn't OP at the highest ranks, Blizzard just didn't feel like there was enough risk with picking ROADHOG. You can comfortably hook people from behind a Reinhardt shield near cover. You didn't need to put your life at risk at all to use that one-shot ability. If you miss it, there's no repercussions either. So, I mean, you can use it and you're like, oh, I missed it. Better just sit back and wait a few seconds until I get it back up again. That's why he was nerfed. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. That was Blizzard's logic. That's also why Rocket Punch is able to one-shot so many heroes in the game. Rocket Punch can one-shot anyone with 250 HP or less if you hit them into a wall. And a lot of people seem to have thought this was OP, or at least there's a vocal minority of people that seem to think this is OP. It's really not if you think about the way Doomfist works. For one, he's not a tank, he's a DPS, and DPSs should be able to perform feats of high amounts of damage. Secondly, Doomfist puts himself into you when he uses this ability. If you try to one-shot someone who's with their team, you're gonna die. It's that simple. You can't just charge into the entire enemy team and expect to live. Unless you have some sort of Zarya bubble or some sort of healing on you, you're gonna die. So you have to put yourself at a lot of risk to use this ability. And also, if you miss it, you're gonna probably die as well. If you miss this ability in a 1v1 somehow, the person you're 1v1ing likely will win because you're now down one of your strongest abilities, and they could probably kite back away from your effective range. So Doomfist has less than half of ROADHOG's health, no self-heal, although he does have shield, so I guess that kind of counters out, but puts himself at a lot of risk to be able to one-shot people. That's why he's able to, and that's why that ability is deemed fair in the eyes of the dev team. Once again, not saying I agree or disagree with it, I'm just giving you their logic and their opinion. Now that we've cleared up Doomfist and also ROADHOG, we definitely have to take a look at Hanzo, and then we're going to move on to Widow. Hanzo and Widow, I both said actually, that their primary fire seems fair. It seems balanced, if not underpowered actually. Being able to one-shot heroes is something they should both do because you need to land a headshot on some heroes with extremely tiny heads. Most of the heroes you can one-shot have tiny heads, and they're very difficult to hit, so it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, so you should be rewarded in getting a one-shot kill. Furthermore, these heroes have glaring weaknesses that take away from their ability to one-shot. Both of them have a very specific range they're best at. Widowmaker's is medium to long range, and Hanzo is pretty much medium, I guess, to closer range. At the longest ranges, Hanzo can't land arrows, and at the closest ranges, Widowmaker suffers from having some sort of terrible SMG in her rifle. It's horrible. So that's why both of their primary fires are balanced. Yet there's this one ability that I'm sure you're thinking of right now, called Scatter Arrow, that seemingly requires very little skill to use and can one-shot people like Orisa, who, you know, if you didn't realize, is actually a tank. I'm gonna go ahead and say I personally don't think Scatter Arrow is balanced. I don't think anybody does, actually. Scatter Arrow is too powerful for this game, definitely one of the most powerful abilities in all of Overwatch, and it's insane. It's crazy. But now I'm gonna go ahead and think in the eyes of Blizzard and try to figure out why they haven't nerfed it. I do think something should be done about Hanzo, but I'm just trying to give you an explanation here. So in Blizzard's eyes, Hanzo isn't someone who's actually too powerful or too weak. It seems like he's actually in a pretty good spot right now. His win rate may be below 50%, but it's barely below And also people have showed, like Raksu, you can play him even up to the highest, competitive ladder ranks and do well with him. Also, a big factor in not changing Hanzo is that his pick rate is admittedly pretty low. You may think every game you have a Hanzo main, but the reality is Hanzo has one of the lowest pick rates in the game, which means he's less impactful and changes to him won't be as meaningful to the game. And it also means if he's not in a good spot right now, he's not making a big impact either because little people are playing him. Imagine if Soldier 76 received a massive buff, like a huge buff. Everyone plays Soldier 76. That would ruin the entirety of Overwatch. But if Hanzo got a huge buff, not much would happen. Hanzo mains would be pretty good, and you might have people trying to play Hanzo, but Hanzo's still a skill hero, a niche pick, and even if Hanzo was OP, people that don't know how to play Hanzo wouldn't be able to perform on him. So his low pick rate leads them to believe that they can take their time with any changes made to him. Remember, this is just a hypothesis. I'm not on the Blizzard dev team, I don't know. This is what I imagine is going through their heads. So if he isn't ruining the game currently, they're going to take their time with changing him. And this kind of goes along with my next piece of philosophy as to why Scatter Arrow hasn't been changed, which is that Hanzo without Scatter Arrow is kind of nothing. He's not good. Hanzo's Scatter Arrow is the only thing really keeping him viable right now. If you take away that, or even if you rework it to an ability that requires more skill, Hanzo will get worse. So, if they rework Scatter Arrow, they need to rework other parts of his kit as well, which will take even more time because they need to keep him, well, they want to keep him balanced. If they just make him directly worse, we're going to get the ROADHOG reaction again, and they're going to be like, oh, I would rather have the Scatter Arrow the way it used to be. Now Hanzo literally heals enemies when he shoots them. That wouldn't be good at all. So they're going to take their time with Hanzo. That's my thinking, because they know it's going to take time to actually make him something different. Or maybe, there's a thought. Here's a thought. They don't care. They think he's fine. That could also be a possibility, but I don't think that's it. The amount of complaining that gets done about Scatter Arrow, I think something will be done. I just think Blizzard is waiting for the right decision to be made. There's one more thing I want to say before we move to the conclusion of this video regarding all one-shot heroes, and that is I don't think Blizzard puts as much weight in the anti-fun factor as you guys do. And let me explain what I mean by that. I think a lot of people are saying that ROADHOG was nerfed because he was anti-fun. That may have been a partial reason, but I don't think that applies to just everything in Overwatch. If things that are anti-fun get nerfed, then Winston would be nerfed because he jumps on heroes that have no counterplay all the time. D.Va would be nerfed because Defense Matrix is anti-fun. It's the most anti-fun. I don't think anti-fun is like some sort of blanket thing you can say that covers all one-shot heroes. I think it's something that's looked into, but it's by no means a deciding factor. So are one-shot abilities fair in Overwatch? That's kind of the question we're trying to answer. Are one-shot abilities fair? Well, they're fair if they require some sort of risk to pull off, or you're at some glaring weakness by having them. And that's exemplified by Doomfist, Widowmaker, and Hanzo. And the reason that ROADHOG was nerfed is because they didn't think he was putting himself at risk and didn't have any glaring weaknesses with his hook. Furthermore, the reason Hanzo's Scatter Arrow hasn't been changed was for a number of reasons that I listed. Please do leave a comment if you have some opinions or you disagree or you agree down below. That is always helpful, and I encourage you all to read the other comments on this video, because if I was wrong or I was right on something, it's helpful to have some backup or someone countering what I'm saying, and it's helpful for you to know that, because not everything I say is 100% true. If you guys enjoyed, I would really appreciate if you checked out another video of mine, my 4 heroes you should play this season if you haven't already. That one was supposed to be comedic, just like my 200k bicep reveal, but it also has some good tidbits of information. We actually go over 4 heroes that are pretty good this season, and also we get to make fun of Torbjorn, so it's a good thing. I'll see you guys all later. Have a good one. Lone Hawk out.